If I were
Yeah.
to call you a Laker legend, how would you respond to that?
I would love it. I know a lot of other people may sit around and want to say that I'm just Piston, but they didn't. I'm able to walk through Los Angeles. I'm able to get parts on TV shows because I played for the Lakers. When I played for the Pistons, I couldn't get a meeting.
But there is something magical about being a Laker, isn't there?
Yeah, it's a trip. I always make a joke that my brothers, because I loved the Lakers growing up, right? Okay, I'm a huge Jerry West fan. I love the Big Dipper. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was such a fan of. And then when I was 15, Magic was going into the NBA. And my brother said to me, you going to be in the NBA at 19? Because I think that's the age. And so I just, dedicated to that. So I was always loving the Lakers. I was a huge Celtic fan, though, growing up. That's because of Bill Russell. Even though I didn't see him play, I just liked the fact that they had the first Black coach. But
Yeah.
I had to develop a hate for the Lakers. My fraternity colors are purple and gold. The Laker colors are purple and gold. And I had to not like, I said, well, it's not gold, it's yellow. I had to not like it. And I remember when I put the jersey on, my brother goes, you got a yellow jersey on? And I was like, yeah, and it fits.
There's one other really cool thing about this. You played for a team that hated the Lakers, and then you played for the Lakers that hated that team who used to hate the Lakers.
Yeah, it was a trip going, like, people that know me. It was okay for me to do it once Dennis Rodman did it. It was open game. I was just happy that Phil and Jerry West gave me the opportunity to help these young fellas. And I sold myself like this, Jim. I said, Phil, I live 5 doors from Shaq, and I can really talk to Kobe, and I know the offense. You're going to need me. So I talked myself into the situation. And then I just had to get in shape. And it was probably one of my favorite experiences. Chicago was a great experience, but the Lakers going from literally being out of the playoffs in the first round in 1999 to winning the championship in 2000 was an amazing feeling. And I know that's from the floor up. So I was appreciative of the ride, of my role, and my lifelong friendships.
Do you fully realize how important you are to the Laker organization because of what you contributed? And there was a certain element that you brought to the Lakers when you came here that maybe they didn't have before.
Yeah, they had a winning attitude. They had that, but at some time they started taking it for granted. Like, oh, the Lakers are playing, so they're going to win. That used to be the way it was when Magic was running the show. When Magic was running the show and Pat Riley's hair was slicked back and they start playing that music, and you smell the popcorn and the elephants at the same time in the forum. I didn't, I Love LA song would come on, it would be so frustrating because, it was like a burst of energy just went into all their players. Byron Scott became more laser focused. Cooper was more irritating. James Worthy is unstoppable. And Magic and Kareem was just a fine-tuned machine. And AC Green would come in and, slick up the ball with his Jerry curl and mess up the game. But it was like they had all these nuances and it can just keep hitting you and hitting you and hitting you. And when I became a Laker, it was a really good thing. Like, I pay attention to almost everything in my life, but literally when I know it was the last part of my career as a professional basketball player, I relished everything. I videoed everything. I got pictures of everything. Pretty soon I'm putting out my show and you're going to see unreleased footage. It's just, I filmed as much as I could because I knew it's something special. It was like in the movie when it was like, it's all happening now. And I was able to watch it and be a part of it.
But you know how important you were, not to the team, but of course to the team, but to individuals as well, because you brought a certain anger, a certain toughness, a certain, I don't give a what about playing for the Lakers towards other teams.
Yeah, when you came, we had to come in, and one of the big things was the most important name on the jersey is the one in the front. And that was an important thing that Phil had to establish with us, an idea of winning, an idea of one breath, idea of winning mentality. And you had to be tough. Like everyone sees the things with Kobe now on how intense he was. That you have to be that to be that. To be that, to be a 5-time champion, to put the company on your shoulder, you have to be that. So just understanding this mentality when we came in, it's time to laugh and giggle, but we don't joke around. That's a different player.
And you brought that with you. You brought all of these things with you when you came here.
Yeah.
And you talk about fitting in really well. It was as though they just welcomed in another part of the family.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you this. I've never told anybody else, but Jim, you and I always say that to one another.
Yeah.
When they took Billy Thompson, and the Lakers could have worked out a situation, taken me. Like that was my mentality too. When I was like, I should have been catching and dunking right along Worthy and Kareem. I should have been zip-ziving because I was a fast break player. And, to receive a pass from Magic, that he made it look good. You had to make it look good on the finishing. I used to watch that, and we used to like revel. I used to be like, man, to play with Magic. I'm glad I got to play with Isaiah. His passes are much softer. Because I had a Magic Johnson pass, and if you miss one, you don't get another one for a long time. Mm-hmm. So it was, just watching it. And then, it's the whole feeling too. It's the forum. It's the Laker girls. It's every single aspect of it. Meeting you in 1986, you know what I'm saying? And you look the same. I know you're a time traveler. We've always known, Jim, you're a time traveler. I always said I knew one. It was that feeling, that tiny, terrible locker room in the Forum is iconic pictures you see now. It was just the whole organization was tip top, and they still are. I mean, look at the Staples Center. It set off a whole nother thing, making the public go downtown. And our downtown Los Angeles was thriving. But it was a true statement. I had been on a bunch of auditions as John Salley from the Detroit Pistons and the Chicago Bulls. And they're like, oh, he plays for the enemy. And then when I became a Laker, I can't count how many shows I was offered.
And when you came, you were welcomed with open arms, even though you did play for the enemy at one time.
Yeah, because I'm a professional. And this is a profession. And guys who remember that this is the profession, I always make the reference, which is an old reference now, that, the NBA is IBM. And I just played in the Detroit office, the Miami office, the Toronto office, the international office, the Chicago office, and I ended in the California office. I wish they would have given me, a golden parachute. I had to work after that. But that was the attitude. And to play with this organization, think about it. This is the first owner to own the network. This is the jersey still outsells in the top 3, no matter what. It's an unbelievable feeling to have been part of that fraternity.
What was your most memorable moment as a Laker?
My most memorable moment was we were down 15 against Portland, and Phil goes out and he's talking, and we're sitting on the bench, and it's game 7. And I lean in and I say, hey, listen, you guys play around all the time, taking those 3-pointers and those half-court shots at halftime. If you throw the ball to Shaq, they're going to foul him. Let's hit some of those threes. All we need, 6 threes, we win the game. 5 threes, we tie. And Brian Shaw hits a 3. Glenn Rice hits a 3. Robert Horry hits a 3. Kobe gets fouled going to the basket. And we're keeping the ball away. And then it's that iconic time when Kobe comes out and throws the alley-oop to Shaq. And when Shaq dunked it and came running out like an airplane, it crushed the morale of the Portland Trailblazers. And I remember that feeling. It was an unbelievable day, because I knew I was destined to win another championship with the Lakers. It was in the stars. I talked to my reader and psychic right here in Hollywood. She told me what my future was. And it was no way we were going to go out like that. I just knew it. And soon as we saw Rasheed say something off to Steve Smith, and then Scottie Pippen was trying to calm them down, telling them he knew exactly what Phil was going to do. And Sabonis was, they were all tired because Shaq, they didn't want to play like that to foul Shaq. And it crumbled in on them. And I remember us winning and going to the Western Conference Finals. And I didn't think ahead. I know it's every game, but it's it was more than just every game. It was like once we won that championship, these guys totally understood no one was going to get in our way. And I used to, like I said, I went on the plane. I used to love Chick Hearn used to sit up there and watch the guys play cards and say some really cool things. So, and I used to say to these guys, hey man, you got a legend standing about you and just hanging out in the front of the plane with the bros playing, watching them play cards. It was just that was a cool thing because you wouldn't expect that. Chick was really a good member of it and good memory. I can also say winning the championship here in Los Angeles was unbelievable. I didn't know it was going to be that wonderful. The parade was entirely different than every other parade I've been in. The Detroit parade was huge. I ain't gonna pull that back, bro. I think the whole city. I think most of the city was unemployed anyway, so everybody was there. And at that time in the 80s and 90s, so but going right down Figueroa was cool. Turning around, it was memorable. I got a hard hat. I would yell for my wife to get it, but she doesn't like working for me as a producer. So, but yeah, that was the greatest time. That one right there, that game. And I don't remember most of my games. We played so many of them, but that one, I remember the feeling. I remember the heartbeat. I remember we were talking about one breath, and we got this. We're not going to lose at home.
That parade was stupid crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, man, that parade was unbelievable. Shaq speaking was great. We got great pictures from it when Shaq was yelling at the trophy. He was calling the trophy be sure because he said his head is the same size. Like I look at the picture and I know what the picture was, why everybody is laughing and smiling. So it was a great bunch of guys too. I've been on a lot of teams, and these guys like each other. That was a great thing. I still, reach out to Brian Shaw every once in a while. Glenn Rice and I follow each other. I see Shaq when I see Shaq. I haven't heard from Travis Knight. I'm going to check into that. But I'm happy to see D Fish doing well. Ty Lue, I saw Ty Lue at the Big Three game last weekend, the weekend before last. He came in with Chauncey Billups. So I'm so proud of what Ty Lue has accomplished. But all that comes from, the last place or that place you play in, you get a different respect as a Laker.
You have, and we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
You have one of the most incredible memories I think I know of any other person. It's almost like elephants come to you when they forget stuff.
Yeah, well, I didn't start smoking cannabis. So, I don't drink, and I don't burn off my brain cells. I constantly with this vegan diet. You got to come to my restaurant, Playing Organics out in San Bernardino. I had to give a shout out.
Oh, of course.
And which had beautiful pictures of Kobe up on the wall and on the ceiling at one time. Yeah, I enjoy and love my life. So, I'm a photographer. It's like my hobby. That's always been my thing. So I have all these different cameras, and I like freezing moments in time and remembering what they are. I had a good life, man. I have a very good life. So I enjoy it. I'm blessed to have it. And I show my appreciation.
Okay, with your camera, you're gonna click now. If you could just freeze frame a moment in time in your career, what would that be?
The day I got drafted. That started it all. I remember walking up the stairs. I remember I had on this Italian blue silk suit. I had on crocodile shoes. I'm so mad at myself for doing that now that I'm a member of PETA. I had a pink tie with paisleys on it. I was sitting next to the Len Bias in Pearl, Washington. And when Harry Hutt looked at me and I was walking, I don't even know if my heart was beating. I know I had to convince myself to put right foot forward, left foot, right foot, left foot. That was going on my brain. And I was so happy that when they gave me the Piston hat, you know, I had the same colors on with the suit, because I always drive me crazy if their suit don't match the hat. But that moment right there, when they were like, I'm an NBA player, they choose me. That right there established it all. I knew I wanted to be a pro basketball player. I focused on that. I did everything. I played extra whenever guys were sleeping. I used to say that when you guys in LA are sleeping, I'm going to be in the park at 6 a.m. That means you'll still be asleep at 3. So I was ahead. And I was ahead of the people on the East Coast because they were still sleeping. So I put, as they say in the book, The Outliers, I put the 20,000 hours in it to become an expert. And then I put an extra 20,000 into it to stay and become a sage. So I got to remember.
Oh, it's really amazing, because when I think about, and we sit here and talk, I think about the it factor. And that's what you have. You have
Thanks.
it, whatever it is that's positive and good, you've got it.
Yeah, you have a choice, right? Happiness is a choice. It's nothing else. Right? You have a choice. There was a great movie called Life is Beautiful, won 2 Academy Awards. Life is beautiful. And they were in a concentration camp. So just to understand that, like, it's what life you're dealing with, you got to make it as happy as you can possibly make it. So I take that into my everyday. I don't say negativity. I stopped lying at the age of 40, but at 50, when I finally figured out how to stop lying, I live a better life. I have a better life.
Where did you get this sense of self from?
Oh, my mother and father were 41 when they had me. And I think my name was going to be Damn. But oh, that's a new joke. Write that one. Yeah, they, you know, my mom said to me, look, man, I'm too old to beat you. So just be a good kid. So I got to be a good kid. So I didn't get in any trouble. And I had good role models, my brother Ron and Jerry and Will. And my father was strong male. I had great coaches, Ted Gustis, Barney Davis, Gil Reynolds, Jerry Perlmutter, Rob Reiner, Bobby Crimmins, Chuck Daly. I had people who literally, without people knowing, cared for me, cared about me, and felt that I worked hard, and people appreciated that I worked hard. So all the blessings come from that. And worry has never changed anything. And Muhammad Ali, I think, if I was to do anything, and anybody I would say, like, was a hero for me, Dr. J, who I'm working with now on the Big Three, these 2 gentlemen behind me. I got Walter Payton over there too, but these 2 guys behind me, just Muhammad Ali told me how to think about my race, how to think about myself, and how to be a champion. And if you can back up with your smile and your laughter, and you can back it up, you can do it. So I can back it up. And Dr. J, I mean, and one of the first things I asked Dr. J, I was a junior in college. I said, if there's any tips you can give me about being a pro, what would it be? He said, take a nap every day, because you're going to become Insambic. And I didn't know what Insambic was. And I was like, okay. I was like, yo, brother threw a thesaurus word at me. Yeah. And I do. I take a nap every day to this day. If I can get a nap in, I would take a nap just to rest my body. And but I had people who cared about me, and those who didn't, I didn't really care about it anyway. But there's some people who really looked at, like, I still talk to my coach, Ted Gustis, to this day. I only talk to one person from high school, and that's Glenn Daniels. He's my point guard. So I pick my friends like I pick my fruit. So like you, Jim.
Yes. You fully realize how lucky, how fortunate, really how gifted you are to have the life that you not only had, but the life that you have right now.
Yeah. Most people don't. They think about things that aren't working well, and they think about things that they feel are problems. There's no such thing. I'm sorry. There's no such thing as problem. There is only solutions. Only solutions, not a problem. Okay, we'll get to it. They'll work it out. You know, it showed up. It's going to go away. It's only temporary.
But John, you're a gift, and
Thank
I
you.
mean you know what I'm talking, because there's very few people that I have ever met that have the attitude about everything the way that you do.
Yeah. Well, I tell you this: the days that I sit around and I do worry, or I have a bad dream, or I think of something, I sit around and go, everything that I'm saying is coming from inside me. It's not anything outside. My thoughts are from inside me. So I check me, and I get into, and they can call it selfish, they can call it whatever. I constantly check myself. Like, I understand, you should go to the Griffith Observatory. There's a great show there called Center of the Universe. And you got to get it. It's on the big dome. And it shows you how small you really are in the scheme of this universe. So to act like life is such a problem when there's 400 trillion more universes that have tons of planets, and there's millions of people on this planet. And if you were to perish tomorrow, that'd be sad, but the earth will keep moving. Trust me, it's gonna move. Like, it's gonna keep moving. It's gonna keep rotating. People are gonna have bagels in the morning. It's all gonna happen, right? And you have to just look at it. You have to just sit back and go, I'm gonna do the best I can while I'm in this box until that door opens that only I can fit in. Like, this is your play box. Play.
It's almost like we are a grain of sand on this huge beach.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's all. If a grain, you might be a quarter or a 1/100th of that grain of salt. That's literally how infinitesimal you are. But without you, the universe doesn't exist. Right? So without that grain of sand, like that, we know it's sand, all those grains together make it sand. So you have to exist. So that's an important thing too. Most people think, well, what am I doing here? I'll just get rid of it. No, you're in, and whether you want to like it or not, you're in this position, live it to the fullest. And as long as you can, don't eat animals, go vegan.
Mm-hmm. You have grown and matured even after your playing days. I mean, just listen to the things that you are doing and the people that you have helped and the businesses that you have been involved with.
Yeah, I got a title sport, and I'm blessed to be involved with Conor McGregor, the champion, and that's in CBD. I got the restaurant up on, my address is 420 Hospitality Lane, and everybody that knows me knows why that joke is funny. I got the cannabis business, Deuces 22, with my daughter Tyler. I'm on CBS every Saturday on the Big Three. That's a blessing. I'm having fun doing that. I have fun doing it all. If I'm not having fun, I got a great movie coming out on Disney Plus called Sneakerella in September, I hope. So I'm on LA's Finest on Netflix. Like, I'm trying to stay as relevant. I took a meeting today with VH1. My deal is I only played on 5 NBA teams. I want to be on every network before I retire. Cable and non. I started with my two partners, Dr. Warner and Greg. We started a streaming network called Spark that we're about to release. Mm-hmm. I'm on Vlad TV on YouTube. When I got time, I'm doing it. I got products coming out that are vegan. Maya's Cookies down in San Diego, water. And everybody asked me, I got with Icon, which is a company that is unbelievable, that is dealing with the future and dealing with holograms and a whole new, and a bunch of other products. Like, it's so far advanced that I'm literally going to be a part of the future. I love that. Still a part of Beyond Meat. So pushing the lifestyle, living the lifestyle. I get up in the morning, I wash my face once. That means I'm not two-faced. I know it's hard to believe in California. But I make sure that I stay in the most positive vein. And I'm gonna tell you, I had a business deal, and the business deal didn't go as the contract said, and then I was gonna have to sue somebody. And I literally told my lawyers, no, we're not going to sue him. We're just going to walk away because I didn't want to be involved in the negativity of court. The blessing is for me.
You really are a gift.
Thank you.
And I mean that in the most positive, upbeat kind of way, because with everything that we have gone through throughout the course of the last year, with the pandemic and with all the social injustice issues that we've had to deal with, John Salley is saying, you know what? There really is a light at the end of that tunnel, even though it's dark right now.
Mm-hmm. Think about this. I tell this to all brothers and sisters. At one time, there was a woman named Harriet Tubman. Think of how bad it was then, right? And she still did what was necessary. That grain of sand was very important. All the people that come before us, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Louis Farrakhan, all these cats that have been telling, Dick Gregory, all these people that were telling us, think of how bad it was then. We just got to keep moving. We got to keep focusing toward the most positive thing. We have to continue because one day we're going to be those that they speak of. So if you stop and look back, you turn to salt, like Job's wife. So you don't want to do that. What was that, Saul's wife? Which one was that? Anyway,
Yeah.
I think it was Job. No, it was Saul. Yeah, Saul's wife turned to Saul. One of them. And you just don't want to look back. Just look forward. Every time I get a part, I always say I'm going to do the best I can because it's audition for my next role. Right? Working actor, you have to keep it moving. Got to keep it sharp. Look, Samuel Jackson. He said, "Why you been in so many movies?" He said, "Because I'm not a waiter. I'm an actor." He wasn't dissing the waiters. He was just like, "That's not what I do." So just got to keep moving it forward.
All these things that you are successful in makes you really a Laker legend.
Well, thank you. And I'll take the banner. I want the jacket. I want 2 tickets. And I'll need parking spaces at the Staples Center. I don't need a statue.
Yeah. John, thank you. Oh, and by the way, let's talk just a little bit before we leave about your restaurant, because I know how important that is to you.
Yeah. So I have a plant-based restaurant in San Bernardino. It's right outside Loma Linda, off the Waterman exit. Me, my partners and I, Terrence and Shiloh. It's called Plant Organics. And I'm going to be out there on the 25th, between 8 and 6, I think from the 2 to 8. So we're having all kind of events. And literally we have affordable vegan food. So people always say vegan food is expensive. No, the hospital is expensive. Diabetes is expensive. So we have vegan food at a great price in a great neighborhood, bringing as many things to the community as possible. And pretty soon, hopefully opening something down here with my friend Angie Means and Jackfruit Cafe, the owner of that, to do some more affordable vegan food. And Planet Health Compton with my boy Roland right there at 556 West Compton Boulevard. Like, we are literally rebuilding ourselves. I got tired of hearing the rhetoric. We've been hearing it. We've been hearing the rhetoric for years and years and years. They always tell us the problem, but what's the solution? The solution is do for self. If it's not there, put it there. If it's not there, put it there. That's it. So, and we needed good food. We needed a place that, I love Beverly Hills, but I don't know if you should drive all the way to Compton, to Beverly Hills, when you can have it right there in your neighborhood. And if we put it there, that's the base of community. So that's just what it is. And while I'm on this planet, I'm gonna do good things, like Maxine Waters.
I'm telling you, once a Laker, always a Laker. That's you, even though you played for them other teams.
Yeah, I got to check.